Started off our day with a win. Let's go for the English. And boy, oh boy, this has been a popular opening, guys. It's crazy how much we've seen that get played. And it's really not a good move. So we're gonna take the center, as usual. Just gonna bring the pieces out. You know, knights to basic squares. Where do we want to put these pieces? Bishop d3, castle. Oh, you better castle now, boy. I was gonna prevent you permanently from doing it. Now, situations like this, you just start to wonder, you know, you've got your whole queen side there. You got your queen on a weird e7 square. Everything's lining up here. Now, you guys have probably heard of the Greek gift before, but truly, what conditions have to be true for the Greek gift to work? Or for you to even consider it? Number one, it's usually a pawn on e5. Now, of course, there could be no knight on f6, but let's say black had a knight on d7. Then you would go takes, knight g5, queen h5, and they would plop their knight on f6. So it's not just that there's no knight on f6, but that you're actually covering and controlling the f6 square. So that's step one. Here we're covering, controlling it. That's good. Step number two is obviously your bishop has to be in position, and obviously your queen has to be in position to reach like this diagonal. Like it doesn't work if your queen's here or something. So the pieces are poised, right? And the next thing is you got to control the g5 square. If black has a bishop on e7, it doesn't matter if you can play this. Doesn't matter if you have that. When you go knight g5, they're just going to take it. Suddenly you got nothing. So I've got check mark, check mark, check mark, and check mark. So I'm going to do it. And even if all this is true, by the way, it doesn't mean that it 100% works. It just means you can do it. It just means it's actually possible. I would say more than likely it's going to work. But all this could be true, and it's still not a guarantee. But all that has to be true before you even begin the conversation of, hey, does this move work? All right, rook e8. Well, you know, we've only got one main idea, and it's queen here. You'll probably appreciate that black's position is so incorrect right now. It's so wrong that the move bishop a3, it's just gonna tie him in a knot. No matter what thing he puts on that square, that's mate in one. You can play this and this and this, it doesn't matter. You're not surviving here, bud. Bishop a3 is the killer. It's so tempting. Lower rated players, they see this, they're like, oh my god, check, oh my god. You're not meeting anyone. The dad bod shuffle is gonna happen, and you might win some pawns. Hey, you might even win a rook, win a piece, win something. The stronger players will look at the squares you want to move to and take them away, because then you know you've got them cornered. Bishop a3 is just a dagger. That move hurts. Emotional damage. And this bishop is just gonna go on a spending spree. Now at this point, I can actually take this queen with, I think, either one of those, because what's gonna happen is I'm gonna take with either one. Let's say black takes back. Of course, if I start with the pawn, I take with the bishop. It's very obvious. But even just to demonstrate what it means to cover all the escape squares, it's more instructive to take with the bishop to show you guys that, look, you can move this pawn, the square is covered, that's mate. You can move this pawn, the square is covered, that's mate. You can move anything you want in the position, that square is covered, that's mate. You can move the rook, that square will be covered, that's mate. even just having the pawn here, even just covering the square, it doesn't have to be check, it doesn't have to be a strong piece like a bishop. It's mate no matter what. Aw, snap! This is the winner's POV. The chess.com aw, snap message. Let's go, baby. We still have this problem. Aw, snap. Man, I was playing some games yesterday. I kept getting this aw, snap message. So at least we've got that. At least we've got that. But this is like, oh, just driving me just crazy. It's gonna cause me to be like a, Microsoft Edge user. Does anyone use Microsoft Edge here? Unironically, I mean. All right, we got the white pieces. Let's go for c4. I'm gonna stick with our setup here of bishop g2. Are we gonna see like hippo energy from this guy? What do you guys think? I'm feeling strong yes. I get big hippo vibes from the lad. Whoa. All right. All right. Now, g5. It's not so much that g5 threatens g4 or anything, but g5 definitely gives me I feel like a pretty good idea of how my opponent's gonna play the game. So let's have a look here. There, I think we'll probably play queen c2, maybe queen d3 is a little more aggressive. I'm thinking about playing on the light squares here. Thinking about playing on the light squares. And that would be, essentially that would be like d5, e4, knight on e3. That's one way to look at it. So I'm gonna play queen d3. See how he wants to develop. Okay. Here. d5, e5 happens. I think we need to start blasting the position open. Our opponent is displaying the classic, move quickly, but not really do anything approach. So, whenever you're up against someone like that, you're pretty much required to be ultra aggressive. All right, f5. I really want to play e4. He's probably going to play f4 afterwards, which I'm not sure excites me. You always want to try to play e5 in those cases. The worst, I guess, that could happen is like if he gets like a fully formed pawn chain and really starts to make some threats there. So I think we'll try to avoid that. Let's definitely start with e4. No question about that. We'll play e5 again, not because I think e5 is good or whatever, but like I feel like I have to do this move. Don't do this move, and I don't like my position. Right? I need this e4 square. That's gonna be so useful for me. Being able to put any piece on e4 here. Bring a rook to d1. Kind of get all my pieces working there. How do we want to take this? Takes c6. Kind of needs an answer. Pawn takes, knight c4, rook d1. Okay. This one opens up the diagonal. So I think it's easy to be a little iffy about that. But not seeing pieces that can get there very quickly. And yeah, this doesn't look particularly scary. Hit the knight. When I played e5, it's important to note that, like, for example, I am down a pawn here, right? We are down a pawn. But it's something that we're okay with. We're comfortable with that. I was thinking about this, but the more I look at the position, the more knight c4 really jumps at me. Not only do I have d6 as an idea, but rook f1 without queen b6 is preferred, I would say. All right. Let's take this thing. I don't believe in this position. I have to be a non-believer. Even though he has queen g5 check, I still think knight takes e5 is the right move here. I could start with bishop back, but I'm pretty convinced that this is the way to do it. Queen g5, bishop back, bishop takes e5, I don't know, knight e4 afterwards. Looks scary. Yeah, I think without knight takes e5, the position is annoying or scary, but, you know, knight e5 is probably as many threats to black's king as there are to mine. Okay, queen h4. Bishop g6 definitely looks like the move. Takes. You're getting killed there. King there. Knight check. And queen f5 is damn near mate. Yeah, the pawn, the knight, and then the rook, plus black's pieces take basically every single available square. So this will just be mate. But again, I think the important thing is that I was comfortable giving up a pawn. And I think more people need to be comfortable doing that when they're playing against the hippo. Not just the hippo with like a refusal to develop. My guy's got two pieces out and he's only pushing pawns here. The center needs to be opened. So e5, d5 just ensures that things are cracked open. And I would not say that this is a, I don't know, like a basic, isn't a basic theme. It's not easy to execute, so hopefully that's at least an example. Oh, we got the white pieces again against the 1400. Hey, are we playing the same lad? All right. It looks like we're finally gonna get a real King's Indian setup here. Knight c3, c6. I don't really know if my opponent's planning to play d5 or not. Can't really tell. At this point, it's very tempting to play, you know, e4, d4, try to take the center. But again, those very Sicilian setups are like more with d3, so I think that's what we'll do for now. Maybe b4. One. It's weird to do this, like just to make a threat, you know? Like I'll just go back, so what? So what? I've got the 2 bishops now. Fairly happy with the position. And I've got the light square bishop, which means I'm probably interested in opening up the position just a little bit. All right, bishop out. We will bring the rooks over. Look to control things a little bit. Oh, chess.com. Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for the raid. Look at that thing. It's humongous. Get your minds out of the gutter. I'm talking about the raid. Talking about the raid. Thank you, chess.com. We're doing a speed run over here. Speed run that started at 800 elo. And we've been working our way up ever since. With the white pieces, I am fairly exclusively playing first move C4, which means you'll probably be seeing a lot of the English opening. And with the black pieces, I'm playing pretty much, again, exclusively first move E6, so a lot of the French defense. I think those are 2 openings that are a little underrepresented in speedruns. And I'm gonna tell you guys, the French defense, especially if you've seen chess.com commentary, Robert Hess gives it a really hard time. And he should. It's not a great opening, but Robert Hess is a strong player, right? It's a bad opening for strong players. However, it is a great opening for people like you, not strong players. So welcome, a raid of 4,559 not strong players. I have the opening for you. Tune in and enjoy. The French defense has literally been just freelo, like actual easy wins. I kid you not. You guys are going to enjoy. I don't know why. I didn't realize it was so strong. But the French has been working out well. The English also liked our setups that we've gotten here, but the nice thing about a speedrun is that you get to see the exact same opening non-stop, so many different examples of basically how people would play against it, and you get to see the different rating levels. So it's like, oh, you know, that's a great opening, but you're stomping 800s, man. It's like, okay, then you see the gradual progression as we play higher and higher ratings, and get different looks against it. Let's take here. Actually, probably gonna throw in the move A5, which looks a little bit strange. It doesn't really hang the pawn because of that, and I'm also considering maybe Queen A4, maybe Knight A4. A few pieces might want to use that square. Knight here. Then I think the queen can take. But I have an interesting follow-up, which is C5 there. So I'm gonna pull the trigger on Knight A4. I think that C5 is interesting enough as a follow-up move. It loosens up the E5 pawn. And remember, my opponent's played this move, so their knight on F6 is looking a little tender. How to lose all viewership in one move. Speedrun 100%. You think so, bud? It sounds like that's a way to lose your viewership. That's also a process that I like to refer to as natural selection. And we will mourn your departure as we continue with the speedrun. Okay, 2 bishops are looking pretty nice here. I'm gonna take this. Man, we got a lot of Croatian fans here. Play the Croatian. Didn't realize it was such a fan fave. Now I am down a pawn here. So temporarily though. Alright, we have pretty good structure. Our weak point is the d3 pawn. I want to say, like, you almost couldn't have a better set of bishops. Bishop f8. Again, c6 can be taken, and e5. I think the more valuable pawn is the one in e5, so I'll take that one. Knight back. I'll save my bishop. I probably want to play something like rook to a1 in order to put pressure on his weak pawn. That way I'd be attacking both of them. It's kind of tough to defend everything at once. There we go. Ooh, and that is the blunder that broke the camel's back. Here we go. GG. We didn't get our aw snap. Nice. Okay. We finally get the white pieces again. C4, please. Apologies. My bad. I'll take the black pieces, actually. Thank you. I was actually hoping for the black pieces instead. Let's get a game with black. Oh, white pieces again. Look at our lucky day. C4, and we get the main line of the English, which I'm excited about. Start with the fianchetto. I like to bring the knight to c3 first. The important squares in this opening are on d5 and e4 for the most part. That's what our whole game plan is about. g3 and bishop g2. And we see a new variation. I don't think we've actually come across this one so far. So I'll show you how I like to play against this. And it's actually e4. This will be really surprising to most people, because I'm blocking my bishop. I'm like giving away a nice dark square there. But I do really like this move, and I don't like taking this way. I like taking towards the center. We need to play d3. This is like mandatory. Absolutely mandatory. And we certainly want to play f4. But, you know, f4 right away when I haven't really developed. Not so sure about that. So, d2. We want a castle. He goes knight b8. Wow. Whoa. What's going on here? That's certainly interesting. Okay. f4. I'll go with my plan. Bishop g5 here. I mean, I think this move is quite good. He almost has to go here, but then it's like, what did the guy do? Knight here, knight here, knight here, knight here, and then knight there? That doesn't make sense. We will definitely take here. Knight f4, but what I'm kind of thinking is the knight actually maybe belongs on d4 to be on this f5 square. So it's a question of, do I want to control that square and bring the queen out, or do I want to go like that and definitely win the f6 pawn? And I have to think about this for a sec. So I feel like I have two really good options here. Hey, map rail. We'll be going at least to 1500 today. That's the plan. We're only at 1350 right now, so we got a day ahead of us. What are we feeling here? Okay, you know what? I'll start with queen d2, which I like. Hitting the pawn and forcing my opponent to make a decision. And because I see the move king h7, I feel like I'm more attracted now to taking this pawn. So I think I might consider knight in here to f4. That's what I'm leaning towards right now. Knight f4, f5, but I think we have answers there. I think we have answers. Plus, we can even just double the rooks. Okay. Probably double the rooks. I mean, knight h5, there's rook g6, so he's trying to play some defense here, but I think building up the pressure first, no need to rush. Yeah, I definitely like this. Because, yeah, there's knight d5, but again, I can bring out this move now, for example, and I've got all the firepower behind it, so I'm feeling good about this. Plus, this bishop can be kicked around with h3 and g4. But again, h3 is a move I can play anytime, right? Knight d5, knight h5 were moves I can play anytime. So I love just getting all the pieces involved first. Rook f2, rook f1. It looks a little bit slow, but I think it gets the job done. Wow. h3 is looking mighty tempting. Rook takes f5. Yeah, I mean, h3 looks very good. Taking here is definitely strong, but I think it's pretty much the same thing. Two big threats here, knight f6 and rook takes h5. I think knight f6 probably. We can go knight f6, maybe take the rook. Let's win some material. I was thinking about rook takes f7, but I don't see anything definitive there. Okay. We double check the math. I think we're up. We ended up a piece. Check. Check. Of course. Of course. We have to bring out rook f8 for the disrespect. Queen h7 available? Of course not. And with the bishop. So that we could do something like this. What about this guy? Okay, he's gonna do it. Again, I'm gonna go g3. I suspect we'll see e5. It makes the most sense by far. But he's gonna go d5. People are really addicted to this d5 move, guys. I don't know why, for the life of me. Knight c3 is pretty much the next move I'm playing, like, you know, with his queen there, almost no matter what. And knight c3. Also watching over the e4 square. It doesn't just fire off pawn to e4 on me and hit my knight. I think we want e3. Open up this bishop. Again, control the e4 square. Let's get castled. And we have a super, you know, classic position here. All right, kingside castle, and I like my position here. Just have to think how we want to proceed. But, you know, bishop g5 is not uncommon. It's not uncommon to give up this bishop because it gives you even more control of the light squares. And the English is pretty much all about those two squares. So that's why you see a lot of ideas in the opening. You're just like, hey man, forget about it. Let me just toss this bishop. It's not really a part of it. And if you're wondering what this setup is, I mean, if you play the Sicilian as black, you're probably looking at it and being like, wait a minute, this is the Sicilian dragon. And you're right. It's the Sicilian dragon. But imagine you play the dragon and your opponent played that setup against you. It's way less dangerous than, like, you know, all these other setups with long castle or bishop e6 and, you know, f6, which if you flip it would be f3, bishop e3. So I just think think of it like you're playing the Sicilian, but with a lot of friendly extra tempi. Rook to the c file. If the knight moves, there might be a knight b5, and you know, knight e4, knight c5 is a nice maneuver to have. a3 is often incredibly important. Take control of that square, and also get off the a2 square there. So far, the game is progressing in very classic style for the English, that is. Okay, I think I'm gonna take knight e4. This is, I think this is great. You guys are getting a really good look at some of the most classic ideas in this opening. Giving away the bishop, knight e4, c5 square, knight takes f6, all possible here. Something about knight d4 doesn't look right. I was expecting bishop e7 to take care of both, but now I can double pawns here. I think now we have some kind of an advantage. Knight c5 also looks really good. Looks really good. Question is, which one are we gonna go for? I'll pick a really solid option. Start by taking this knight here. Knight c5 looks like a great move. Hard to say no to that. Knight takes f6 looks like a great move. Hard to say no to that. I'm gonna take this because it looks like more permanent damage, so to speak. I'll take this pawn, and on rook b8, I can go bishop c6 so that I don't lose a pawn straight back. So now this pawn is being hit. Queen d2 and queen h6 is I would say it's a serious threat. I know it's just a small move, queen d2, but he should probably react with that. If he doesn't, then I'm really considering just putting the queen out there. So I think he's made a great decision. There. As for me, I'm looking at b4. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Could probably take with either one here. I'll do the b pawn. There's still something to be said on the other side of the board there. I'll take that for now. Queen f4. Or even rook c4. Yeah, rook c4 looks kind of cool. Because it's like, if you take me, my pawns get connected and your d pawn is hit. And then if you deny the exchange, then I'll bring my queen out. See what happens. Probably rook there after rook there. Vader. It's a good game here by black. It's a very small edge, but that's often what the English yields. Small positional edge that, you know, takes time to mature, basically. But now I think we can keep things really simple. Take. We're gonna lose our pawn, but we're up 2 pawns here, and our opponent has, you know, a shattered structure. So I think any queen trade is immediately losing for him. some are better than others for me. Like, for example, taking here is not my ideal queen trade, but guess what? I'm up 2 pawns in a rook endgame. I'm not going to say no to it. So I wouldn't say that I made the best move there, but I know 100% that my position is winning. Like, if all the pawns trade down, I'm left with simply 2 extra ones. 2 pawns in an endgame like this will always be winning, so I know that I'm winning. It's just a matter of executing. Probably G4. And essentially we just want to play F4. I want to keep my pawns together. That's the only sort of caveat here. I don't want this pawn and that pawn. I want them to be 2 connected pawns. But yeah, now that we've got this, this will always be winning. There's a nice trick that I hope I get to show you. I think I'll be able to, but it's what you do. I mean, there's many ways to win it, so it's not like you need to know this, but it's helpful, like, in terms of simplifying. Okay, yeah, I'm probably not gonna get to show it. He went down here. I was expecting him to stay here, which prevents the check, so kind of makes a bit more sense, but it might come up again. We'll see. I really want him to go back, but I don't think I'm gonna get him doing that. Unfortunately. All right, another time for that trick. I can still show you it after the game. It's an interesting one. Maybe like this. May as well keep both pawns. All right, what I was going on about here was, I mean, it's not really a big deal, but if people leave their rook here and go like that, yes, you can check and try to find a way to do it, but I always like playing rook here, because if they, give ground with their king, then you can go f5, you're threatening rook check to trade rooks. And if they go this way, then you can advance with your king. And if they keep shuffling, then you can give this check, which forces a rook trade because you're effectively losing your rook and then trading it off. And this king and pawn endgame is always winning. And then, yeah, just win it from here with the opposition and king in front of your pawn. All that good stuff. So it's a useful way, especially if you're in a time crunch or something and I don't want to sit here and have to play precisely f5, g5, slowly advance. If I can just go here and do this check trick, it saves me a lot of time.